are now tuned in to the #1 wraparound show brought to you by the #1 spring football media conglomerate, the United Football Media, covering the #1 spring football league, the United Football League. We are the DAR Sports Crew. We are back and better than ever. This is Tell Me About It, coming to you live right here on the United Football Media. The UFL is almost back in action. Gentlemen, we have camps kicking off this week. I guess it's just camp. I'm so used to talking to the NFL. It's just camp. Camp for the UFL kicking off this week. We have the MGM betting lines, and that is the first episode, the first thing we're going to come to you and get off here. In the coming weeks, we will give you conference breakdowns, a USFL conference breakdown, a XFL conference breakdown, and quarterback room power ranking discussions, team power ranking discussions, everything you come to love and expect out of Tell Me About It on the United Football Media. I am joined here by my main guy, the up-and-coming guy on sports content streaming on sports TikTok. He is our young gun, Taze Takes LLC, Taiwan Archive. I'm also joined by a writer for Pro Football Network, the owner and proprietor of our crew, DAR Sports Media. He is MH True, the True God. We're so excited to be back with you guys again for another season. United Football League. The BetMGM odds just came out this week. I'm going to read them off for you, and we're going to talk about things we like, things we don't like, values, what we got. Real quick. I know if there's some sharks out there who know what these things mean already, then I apologize for a very simplistic explanation. But last year, we got questions in the comments. What do the numbers and the symbols that you are talking about in these betting lines mean? We're here to, I'm just going to break it down very quickly, very simple, very, very easy for everybody to understand, accessible. So please do not fry me up if you are a betting shark in those comments. I understand it's a lot more complex than this. I just want to make it easy for everybody to understand. And of course, we here at United Football Media and DAR Sports always encourage you to bet responsibly. Call the number if you're having problems.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about plus lines and minus lines. A plus line, a plus number, is an underdog line, which is betting against what Vegas thinks is going to happen. So the higher the number on a plus number is the harder bet, but it also returns a lot more money. So when we talk about a plus 100 versus a plus 600, the plus 600 is technically the harder bet, but you're going to get a lot more money back on a plus 600 than a plus 100. On the other side, a minus number is a favorite line, which is what Vegas expects to happen. So you're betting on Goliath in that scenario. So the return for your bet is going to be a lot less the higher the number goes, but those are also considered to be easier bets. You can get yourself in trouble on those, by the way, quite often. I have personally found over my life betting underdogs is the way to go. But that is how those things work. So when we talk about plus 200, plus 600, plus 700, that's what we mean. The higher the number goes, the less Vegas expects this to happen. The bigger underdog this team is. With that said, the BetMGM odds are out, and they are as follows. For the UFL Championship, Birmingham Stallions, the favorite at plus 200. Second place, the St. Louis Battlehawks at plus 350. Tied at third, the DC Defenders and the San Antonio Brahmas at plus 600, both of them. Right behind them are the Michigan Panthers, plus 650. The Arlington Renegades follow them up at plus 1,100. The Memphis Showboats come after them at plus 1,500. And the Houston Roughnecks are at the bottom at plus 1,800. So we're talking values. Out of those numbers, thoughts and feels. Personally, I'm a little confused, a little shocked at the Brahmas getting a plus 600. You're bringing in, they brought in a guy who was pretty highly touted in the college ranks, put on some spectacular performances in the college ranks, in Kellen Mond, into a automatic offense, flashy offense that we saw and we know and we loved last year, AJ Smith's spread offense with the VR visors. You know, it was interesting because that was such a topic of discussion on the show and over there on the Brahma bullpen with our boys, Josh and producer. The VR headsets, and then Jaden Daniels comes to the NFL this year, has this most spectacular rookie season possibly ever for a quarterback. And what did he attribute a lot of his success to? Training with VR headsets. So it's interesting that made the crossover and made such a huge impact in so many things that we saw in this past NFL season. Can Kellen Mond function in this offense? You know, on the surface of it, it seems like, oh, well, highly touted going here, but we've seen highly touted players come to the UFL and fall flat in the past. So I don't think it's automatic, but also I think there's very well could be an upgrade. What I do think is for sure an upgrade is the quarterback room in general. And we'll get more deep into this when we do our XFL conference preview. But they also have Kevin Hogan and Jarrett Guantano in the quarterback room. So even if Kellen Mond is a bust, even if he gets hurt while running, I think both of those guys can be successful in the system. I've liked Kevin Hogan anytime I've seen him get in NFL preseason games, liked him as a prospect in Stanford. And, you know, we talked a lot about Jarrett Guantano and his abilities and his athletic profile on this show last year. It didn't quite work out because the Houston Roughnecks, respectfully, were a bit of a cluster last season. But I still think the talent is there. And in an offense that is kind of auto numbers in the way that the Brahmas offense is, I think all three of those guys have a real serious chance to succeed if they get into the game. They brought Jontre Kirkenblack. They brought John Lovett back at running back. They have their main playmakers back in the house. Alize Mack at tight end. The main playmakers are back. The OC is back. You would think this could be an upgrade at quarterback, and that's saying a lot when they had an MVP candidate quarterback last year. They added a guy who was projected, who was mocked in the first round of a lot of drafts the year he came out, the cornerback out of LSU, Greedy Williams. They added him to the number one defense in the XFL. They returned both the linebackers. They returned their primary pass rusher. Plus 600 for this loaded Brahmas team is very tasty to me. Very tasty in my mind. My backup, my sleeper, of course, and I think I'll probably get agreement on this show, because we respect the GOATs on this show. 1,100 for the Renegades, man. That's you never know when they could get hot again. When things, we talked about it so much. How many games? How different was their record last year? If all they did was pull out, how many they lost what, 3 or 4 games on the last play of the game last year? Just insane. You turn a little bit of that around. They got Luis Perez back. They got a lot of their playmakers back as well. The offensive coach and the infrastructure is back. 1,100 for the Renegades. To me, you know, and like we said, that's a pretty big return. You would not have to bet very much to get a very nice chunk back for the Renegades going all the way with that stacked team and with that stability at quarterback. I kind of like it. Those are my 2 picks. Tay, give me a value pick. Who do you like the most versus the odds on that list?
I like the Arlington one was pretty good to me. You know, they're getting their quarterback back, and they competed in almost every game. They even had an upset win last year. I can't remember who it was against, but it was towards the end of their season. They blew somebody out. Like I want to say they scored the most points that game in the season. But yeah, Arlington, that's definitely a good one. You know, you took all the teams, so
took 2 teams.
I like Michigan. I like
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Michigan. I like what they did last year. The roster looks different. You know, they did lose some guys, but
But they got a
I
lot of their
gotta be
defensive stalwarts back. They got Ginda back. I mean, they got some good players back on defense.
yeah, their defense their defense will be all right. But I would say I like Michigan. I like Michigan. I like Arlington. And I also want to see if the Brahmas have another good season as well. You know, they came out the woodworks and no one really expected them. They were pretty low the year
Yeah, they
before
were
that.
last. They were ranked last last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be cool to see again. Yeah, it's definitely some solid value out there. My favorite one would be Arlington. That's because they're bringing it, they're getting their quarterback back, and you could say he probably had the second best season behind the MVP, Adrian Martinez. So I like Arlington the most. I definitely like Arlington the most, just because they're bringing their quarterback back, and he had a great year.
Hey, you know, the Showboats, they got the secret weapon. They got your favorite player. Oh, EJ Perry down there, ready to do some work.
They do.
Well, yeah, with five new starters on the offensive line. That's what I'm being told. That's what I'm being told. Captain's log over there with Brandon and inexplicably Webb has joined him over there on Captain's log. So they'll tell you all about we're going to do this again another year, I guess, where everybody's going to say you guys are hating on the boats, you're underrating the boats, but they got your guy. They got Ken Wisenhunt down there. Going to have new starters on the offensive line. They got EJ Perry slinging it.
Yeah.
Hey, True. What do you like value wise?
I'll tell you what I don't like value wise, and that's them daggone showboats. And my hatred will never go away for the showboats. I don't care if Webb's over there. I don't care if they brought the best players in the entire league. I'm not trusting the showboats. I never will. Their downfall will be my pleasure. So don't like them. Kind of laugh at the Roughnecks. I feel like the Roughnecks are like the forgotten team so far. It just feels like I've heard no buzz around that team in terms of anybody feeling really good. My pick would probably be the Brahmas. Honestly, I think that's when you talk about bet value and what you're picking, plus 600 it's a solid. You get a solid return on that if you make that bet. So I think the Brahmas are going to surprise. Well, I don't say surprise a lot of people. I think they surprised a lot of people last season, and now I think they're going to live up to that reputation that they earned last season. So, yeah, I can't really look at any of the others that are, I guess, in the like Arlington's a good one. I'm like half and half on Arlington. I don't necessarily see them being the make it to the championship personally, but like I see the Brahmas making it to the championship. I don't necessarily see Arlington doing that. Yeah, I don't see a lot of value there where I'm like, oh, that's a good one. The Brahmas really the only one. I think some of the lines are kind of funny. I think what was DC again? What was DC Defenders again? What was their line again? DC Defenders plus
DC
what?
was same. It was the same as the Brahmas there, plus 600.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which honestly, I don't really understand that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they should be like a plus 900, plus 11. They should be where Arlington is, maybe a little lower to me personally, but didn't see anything from the DC Defenders last year that made me come into this season and looking at their roster, maybe a slightly better season, but nothing that makes me go, you're going to the championship. So I would just go with the Brahmas. I do like Arlington. I think Arlington will be better than they were last season because all it takes is, some better execution down the stretch, and you can win some more games. But I don't see them making a championship, so I'm gonna go with the Brahmas.
I'm looking over the Roughnecks roster. Where the heck is Ace? Where's the Roughnecks rundown? He's just somewhere being beautiful and talented, doing nothing. Where the hell is he?
But that's what I said.
Ace.
As I said, there's no buzz. There's no buzz on the Roughnecks. There's nothing.
Well, I'm looking at the roster. And it looks like this is Axe. If he was here, Axe is I don't want to blow his cover. He's busy infiltrating the Hell's Angels right now on a CIA operative mission. He's in witness protection, so that's why we don't got him yet. But he should be back sometime this season when he's done with that. Axe would know who this is, and he would laugh at what I'm about to say. Because it was a little bit of a cluster last year for the Roughnecks, a little bit of drama, shall we say. And they've added Isaiah Battle to the team at offensive tackle. And that is a hilarious addition considering who we're talking about. Okay, but, Merritt is back, the running back, the playmaking running back that snapped his arm in like 17 places last year, early in the season. He'll be back to make plays. Justin Hall is back. And I really liked the way Nolan Henderson looked last year when he got in at quarterback at the end of the season. So while I would stop short of saying this is, a good sleeper pick, it also, I don't think it would hurt to put $5 on them. I mean, honestly, you could put $5 on the Roughnecks to make it, to win the thing. And if they do, that's a big return at plus 1,800. Tay, do you have any hope? Would you put any money, any value whatsoever on the Roughnecks possibly rising above their station here?
If I can't guess your starting quarterback, no. I don't know who's their starting quarterback. I don't know. They just it's based off of last season. I don't know. They just never really. They didn't really do anything for me last season, and yeah, they brought some guys back. You could say they got better, but I'm just not so sure. I don't know who goes out there at quarterback. Like, Anthony Brown, he's obviously the most exciting, due to his running ability. If they want to go that route, but I don't know. I just don't see it. Like, I look at other teams, I'm like, okay, they have this player, and I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it in Houston. I really don't. I think they'll be better. Like, they could go to the playoffs. They could be like 4 seed, but championship, nah. I'd save my money. However much you're gonna put on that, go buy yourself some dinner. Go do something different. I wouldn't take that.
It's a dinner. I don't know where you're getting dinner for $5 in 2025, but
a biggie bag is 4 for 4. You can get a 4 for 4.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. There you go. See, look, you get it all here on Tell Me About It. You get to be told what's going on elsewhere on United Football Media. You get a little bit of betting advice, a little bit of betting insight, and you'll be told where to find nutritious and affordable meals anywhere you need to get them from.
Nutritious is a stretch. Nutritious is a stretch, but affordable, absolutely.
Last year, Tay, you were very bullish on the St. Louis Battlehawks. This year, we got a new quarterback room. Their offensive coordinator just got signed by the NFL just a couple of weeks ago. Some doubts. So now, a lot of people. And I think we already kind of did with Kellen Mond, but I just want to be clear for when the comments are going insane. Personally, for me, and I think the other guys on the crew here, they feel somewhat similarly. You can project all you want, but until I see it, especially a guy who hasn't played in this league before, I got to see it before I can just feel like I can depend on them. Before I can just say it's an automatic. So while I do expect Max Duggan, former TCU quarterback, he of the national championship run, while I do expect him to be an exciting, successful player in this league, it still has to happen. We still got to see it. And how much is losing the OC going to affect this crew? It's still a loaded crew. In fact, it's more loaded than ever at the skill positions because they brought in Andy Isabella, who's a guy that I was super excited about coming out of the draft. He's been on and off my dynasty fantasy teams for years. It just never quite worked out in the NFL. They added Andy Isabella, got a lot of their guys back, adding the man himself, Max Duggan, to this quarterback room. And they still got Manny Wilkins, who showed a lot, rocket arm, fast runner. They have, some talent back there, but they still got Jacob Sailors as well. Ja'Cour Pearson's coming back. Denzel Mims is another guy they added, another guy I loved coming out of the draft. So they are stacked, but it is a bunch of guys. Some of the last few, Mateo Durant is back. But some of the guys, I believe they got Mike Rose back on the linebacker side, but the guys that we're naming off, they got to prove it to me. Tay, how bullish are you feeling about at the second highest probability, the plus 350? That could be looked at as somewhat of a value because it's still a plus number. It's still above 300. It's not the favorite. It's not the highest one. And this is a loaded team that could end up gelling and really tearing it up. Well, my concern is that it's just such a short season and only 2 teams per conference get in. My concern is that they lose some stupid games to the teams that are well established in the beginning, and then maybe they can't catch up once they catch on fire at the end of the year. So what are your thoughts? You were quick to jump on the Battlehawks last year. Any doubts this year?
No, I think you can say the team's better. Like, in my opinion, they literally brought everyone back and then added more talent to the like just as weapon. Like last year, that's what I stressed. I always stress their receivers, their running backs. Mateo Durant, Jacob Sailors, and then they still have the best receiver in the league on their team. I think he'll do it again. Ja'Cour Pearson. He's coming back. He dealt with some injury last year. Hopefully it doesn't happen this year. And Isabella, like you said earlier, he's probably the fastest player on the team.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest players in the league.
Yeah,
y'all don't know about Andy Isabella, but you're about to find out.
yeah. He has a nice special skill set. So I don't see why not. And they also have Denzel Mims from Baylor. I don't see why not. Like they lost
another 4-3 guy. All those guys are 4-3 guys. Pearson, Andy Isabella is like a low 4-3. Denzel Mims is a 4-3 guy. Nasty business.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I do trust Max to fill in and do his job. I think he has the best weapons in the league. That's what I would say. Like I said, he has the best receiver. Said it last year. I'm gonna say it again. It's the same thing. It's honestly the same thing. I think they'll be okay. I like the Battlehawks just as much as I did last year. I don't really have a reason not to. Yeah, I don't have a reason not to. Like it's really based off. I think really anyone could fit in the Battlehawks offense. Like it's the most friendly
infrastructure. Yeah,
it's QB friendly.
Yeah.
It's QB friendly, and that's why I trust them so well. Like I said, yeah, they have the best receiver in the league. They had a great run game last year. I mean, they were a great team. They fell just short, but I don't see why not. I'm gonna. Yeah, I feel the same way about the Battlehawks as I did last year.
True. How do you feel about the Battlehawks changes? Our last take before we roll up out of here.
I pretty much agree with Tay and kind of what you're saying. I don't think 350 is a great value. What you're saying, I feel like if it was more like a plus 400, 500, I actually think in general, I hate odds like that. Like Birmingham's like what plus 200, and then the Battlehawks are plus 350. I just always feel like to outright win something, especially for a league that goes through so many changes, like the UFL, I feel as though you should start with a base of like plus 400 for your defending champion. Because if you look at like any other league, when they do the future bets, basically what you're doing, they start typically. I mean, you could get like the Celtics to win the championship the next year at like plus 1,600 or plus 1,000, even though they've just won. Okay. So I think. And so I'm always, and same thing with the Super Bowl and all stuff like that. So I don't necessarily think 350 is a good value, or 200. That's why I went with the Brahmas, because for my pick, I think the Battlehawks should be just as exciting as they were last season. Definitely be just as exciting. I'm interested to see some of the matchups. There's a lot of games that happened last season that could have gone either way. So there's teams that did very well for themselves that just one possession could have changed that entire game. And
it might flip this year.
Yeah. So my concern with the Battlehawks is that a little bit, but they got a dynamic offense. That's what's going to carry them this season, I believe. Whereas, and this goes back to why I picked the Brahmas, I feel like the Brahmas have enough on both sides to carry them. And there's a lot of games where Brahmas did not look at all like a team that could be rattled or one possession could change the game. So there's, like I said, a couple games that Battlehawks won where I'm like, man, that could have went the other way. So I am not as heavy on them, I'm sure, as Tay is. And since Tay is still high on them, I'd probably be a lot less high on them as a result of that. But no, I think they'll have a great season. I definitely think they'll be in the upper echelon of the teams. Just when we go back to that plus 350, I just feel like this. I'm a cheap bettor in general. So when I see plus 350, I'm like, man, you at least give me plus 500. Like at least plus 500. Like at least
the negotiations.
Yeah, at least.
Well, the United Football Media is minus 10,000 to be the best damn spring football media conglomerate in the game again this year. Captain's log with Webb and Brandon already rolling over there. They're trying to talk you guys into another year of giving the Showboats a chance. I'm still highly skeptical. There is a whole lot of new down there, though. New host, new coach, new offensive lineman, new quarterback. I don't know.
New don't always mean good.
I'll be back someday as soon as Ace is done lighting up the world with his beautiful talents. He'll be back to be able to pay some sort of attention to this operation we got going on over here called the United Football Media. The Panther podcast with FBI Tugboat. I believe he's already posted them. I believe they're already rolling right now. Check him out. Another contender. A lot of new faces on the offense, but the defense looking nasty once again this year. And of course, my favorite, your favorite, everyone's favorite, the Brahma bullpen still rocking and rolling down there. Josh, producer, they are killing it. Already been pumping out episodes, getting you guys ready for the season. We will have everybody back. Stallions run, a Renegade show of some report, the Battlehawks show, the Cawcast coming back at some point. All that stuff will be back rolling as the season gets rolling. We here, DAR Sports Media. If you want to check us out, doing some more stuff, we talk NBA, we talk NFL, we talk combat sports. Just pop DAR Sports Media up there in the YouTube search bar as you're watching this. After you get done watching all of the great content United Football Media puts out, please be forewarned, we do say cuss words over there on our page. Not like the buttoned up professional
quite often
type of programming that you get over here on the United Football Media. We are the DAR Sports Media crew, and this has been United Football Media's Tell Me About It.